For instance, you have a course on economic history of the subcontinent of India, which prepares not only the students who are interested in economics, because we do have a Department of Economics as well in the School of Humanities and Social Sciences. The students are the ones who are actually taking this on and doing something with it within their own college lives, and they go on to do it outside and after colleges. For instance, they organize by themselves, film screenings.
So hello, everybody. It's nice to be here with all of you, and thank you for joining me. And I thank Mr. Mittal and, of course, our admissions outreach team from the Shiv Nada University that I'm part of for the last 5 years. I want to begin by actually just saying that, this is really a privilege to speak with all of you, even though I'm not able to see you or, probably meet with you in person at the moment. We hope we'll have that chance soon enough when many of you can visit our campus and we can meet face to face. So like Mr. Mittal said, I'm an archaeologist and I've been teaching at Shiv Nada University for the last 5 years. And I came back after 17 years from my education and my work in the United States of America. And what I actually felt was the new generation of university education that was beginning about 10 years ago with private universities really has been a very good kind of influence on the higher education arena in India right now. And I'm also glad to see I'm joined by my head of department, Professor Anubhuti Maurya. Welcome, Anubhuti. The picture that you are seeing here on the first slide is actually from our department field trip, which we take annually. The students and faculty go for an annual field trip sometime in the winter semester. In fact, we are going for one next weekend as well for about 3 days or so, because we have a strong sense that the knowledge of the past is not only within the classroom, but it is within the spaces, physical spaces, and a sense of belonging to physical spaces gives a better understanding of what the past must have been like, along with our classroom discussions. So, our department is definitely a premier department for teaching and research on history and archaeology and related disciplines. Our faculty, which is small but internationally recognized and well published, are a kind of a collection of people who all have PhDs, of course, but they also come from nationally recognized universities and international institutions as well. We are also very unique in the sense that our undergraduate program is the only one in the private university network in India which combines both history and archaeology equally in the curriculum. And alongside archaeology, we also have museum studies, where we teach students about curation. I'll say a little bit more about that a little later. And we are also the only undergraduate program with archaeology as such specialized into the curriculum itself. Apart from the undergraduate curriculum, which is 4 years, and this 4-year program actually is before NEP actually brought in the 4-year system into the general higher education system. Shiv Nada University was always a 4-year undergrad system. We also have a PhD program, which is running for both history and archaeology. So, oftentimes we get asked, what is unique about our undergraduate program, especially when, history as a discipline is taught in so many colleges and universities all across the country, including in the Delhi NCR region. One, of course, is the fact that we have history and archaeology together, which is quite unique in itself. But our own curriculum is built around a set of very systematically researched program of what is on offer for our undergraduate students, which includes domain knowledge and also innovative, new and up-to-date and current kinds of courses. As you can see on this slide, we have something called core courses that constitutes a basic scaffolding, things like long-term survey courses where students in the first year or so, they need to understand certain basic elements of history and the past. And those are the kinds of courses that students are required to do. And these kinds of courses are among the state of the art kind of things. So unlike, for example, let's say a Delhi University college system, where they also have extremely good history teaching, but a lot of those courses may not change over a period of time or not change fast enough to reflect new kinds of research. We do score much better on that front, where even our core courses are very up to date. And apart from that, all students are required to do elective courses, which very, sort of importantly are based on faculty's own research areas of specialization. So if I, for instance, have a specialization in historical archaeology, I'll be offering courses of that sort, and so on and so forth. I'll give a few examples of courses a few minutes later as well. And a result of all of this four-year education program that we have is that students join not only academics and to do research, but they are also well equipped with critical knowledge, writing and reading skills that allows them to have a breadth of professional opportunities that they can look for. For example, in journalism, law, development related research, or policy-oriented work. They also can have a creative kind of input with this kind of a training in also film and other kinds of media, including digital media nowadays. Um, like I was mentioning, the uniqueness of our undergraduate curriculum is the intertwining of history and archaeology. And the way we kind of envisage our core courses and our elective courses that I just spoke about is in ways in which we can understand thematically the 21st century challenges that students have to face. So unlike, most of us might think of history as only about the past, about things that really happened, really did not happen, we are actually also training students to think about the present and the future through an understanding about the past. So, for instance, how do we talk about 21st century themes like sustainability? How did civilizations in the past, did they face similar problems? What kind of resolutions or solutions would they have come to? Is there climate change kind of problems that we can talk about from the past? What kind of ways in which human societies negotiated these challenges, including things like conflicts? Archaeology, of course, is, as I was mentioning, is integral to the discipline, but it's also an independent discipline within the curriculum, in a sense that we emphasize not only the theoretical sides of, how do we understand the past through material objects, but also we say, how do we actually do the survey and excavations, and how do we make sense of the artifacts from that we find in the field. So we are also very invested in making our students understand that the past comes in different material forms. It's not only written documents and manuscripts and coins, but also about visual history. It's about a broader kind of a material culture that we are talking about, which is important to emphasize. So our coursework actually does all of this very comfortably for the students so that it's not overwhelming. The courses are spread out over 3.5 years, and the fourth year being a research thesis year, which I'll say a little bit more about as well. So our department provides a breadth of a lot of thematic understanding, some of the traditional themes of social and economic history, political chronologies. All of those are also definitely something that we train our students to recognize and understand. Our students, of course, work right from the beginning with primary archives. So in the sense, we encourage our students in our classroom space to read a primary document, an archival document, a visual image, a piece of pottery, so on and so forth, and to think about it and use certain analytical concepts and tools in order to understand what they can actually do with these things. So I was speaking about the courses, and the courses are actually very unique. Like I was saying, it is based on a lot of the faculty members' specializations. For instance, you have a course on economic history of the subcontinent of India, which prepares not only the students who are interested in economics, because we do have a Department of Economics as well in the School of Humanities and Social Sciences. So this is a course that attracts a lot of students who are doing a major in economics, but want to understand a little bit about the past of economic theory or economic practice. And our own history students are able to get a better understanding of financial concepts, distributional networks which deal with economics, and so on and so forth. And of course, this involves a lot of an understanding of government policy, exploring debates of what micro and macroeconomics, and so on and so forth. And my colleague, Dr. Imon Mitra, trained as an economist in his undergrad and did his PhD in history. So he comes from a training in solid training in both the disciplines of economics and history itself. Similarly, I teach this course called the Archaeology of Landscapes. And this is a course this is a course that I have been teaching over the last 4 years now, but it's something that is very close to my specialty, to my PhD research as well. The picture that you are seeing here is from the Madhya Pradesh archaeological site of Mandu, where there is a current archaeological project that I'm part of as well. And many of our students have gone to this archaeological site and got some fieldwork experience there. So I convert, or most of us colleagues actually convert our own research agenda into an elective course that students take in the undergraduate level. So therefore, automatically, these courses become unique in their education, which is not offered in any other college or university. And there's a unique way in which classroom interaction takes place, which has not only the majors from our department, but students who are getting a minor, let's say in history, or a combined minor in history and archaeology, or a minor just in archaeology, from disciplines like Bachelor of Management Studies or International Relations, sociology, English, mechanical engineering, biotechnology. All of these students are sitting at the same time in the same classroom space. And we are giving them the same high level of education that we expect from our own students who are doing a history and archaeology major degree. So that way, it's a robust and solid education that we are always providing through a thematic expression of these individual elective courses. Dr. Anubhuti Maurya, who is also here with us today, she teaches this very, very fascinating course called Mapping Frontiers, and where the emphasis is on networks and mobility, outside of looking at only a geographical space, but looking at spaces as connected. And she brings in these connections through the conversation and discussions and debates regarding movement of things like commodities, like coffee, sugar, and silver, right? So in that sense, it cross-cuts students' interests, which might be economic. Let's say they're very familiar with all of these commodities. These are everyday commodities for everybody in the world. But a longer-term history regarding how these commodities became an everyday commodity and things of that sort are addressed in courses of this sort. We also teach, not only do we have all of this curriculum, but we also teach all of this in innovative ways. For instance, we assess some of this teaching through our course assessments that we give students. So one of our colleagues, Dr. Divya Kannan, who teaches modern Indian history with a specialization on childhood studies and gender studies, she has developed something called an essay. Most students think of humanities classes as requiring students to write a lot of essays and long answers. It is true. I mean, we do make students and train students to write long answers which are critical in analysis, but we also want the students to think out of the box. we want them to think their ideas through different forms of expression. So Dr. Divya Kannan actually has come up with this concept of an essay, which certain universities across the world also have, which is basically a pedagogical strategy to have a different sort of an output other than the usual essay format. So it could be a poem, it could be a creative piece, it could be a little play, it could be a script, something that conveys the idea of the theme under discussion in the classroom, done either by individuals or groups. Another form, of course, in archaeology training is laboratory work, practical work. We have an archaeology lab in the university, and this is part of our department. And we are very happy and proud of the space that we have. We have conducted programs of analysis of pottery remains. We have done workshops for students in Delhi, for instance, that you can see on the top right, where students are learning how to map artifacts. This is City Fort complex in South Delhi. And we have laboratory tools, basic equipment is there. We have computer machines which have GIS software on them, which helps students to make maps and conduct and do visual and all kinds of laboratory investigations. And students, there are courses which train students by archaeologists in order to do something like this. So coming to the issue of, our reputation, so to speak, and how do the students see us, and how do some parents actually see us, and what kind of feedback we have received from them. It would be very interesting, actually. We just got some of our major students over the years to tell us, what comes to their minds when they think about our department and what they have learned, or how they feel at home. And these are the kinds of keywords that they have come up with. So it's very interesting to be a teacher who thinks about all of these in detail, whereas the students come up with a phrase or two or a word which kind of surprises you. Fantabulous is, of course, not a word that I would use in the classroom space, but it's a feeling that is being expressed as an adjective by these students. Collaborative, family, even. Which is quite surprising because we have a very formal structure of education here. Devoted, phenomenal. So there's all kinds of, it captures what the students feel about their classroom spaces, their teachers, and the kind of atmosphere that we create in the university system as a whole, which allows a fully residential campus for students to feel secure, safe, appreciated, and also learning something which is going to be useful for them in the long run. These are just some of the testimonials some of our students say that they have about us. For example, Shruti, who is our fourth year student, says, more than anything, the department has employed me with the tools to strive for a complex understanding of the seemingly simple structures we deal with in our daily lives. I mean, to me, for an undergraduate student to say something like this is quite profound in itself. And if our faculty and our teaching, our curriculum can make a young person who's just an undergraduate student still think this way about the world around them, I think that's a good education that they seem to be receiving from us. Anjali is another very good student of ours in our fourth year, and she comes from a rural background in Uttar Pradesh, and we are very proud of Anjali having done really well here. And as she says, I mean, she credits a lot to gives a lot of credit to her education, to her professors. But I must say, I mean, Anjali has put in a lot of effort herself. She has grown as a person like many of her classmates, all of her classmates. And we're very proud that we are able to give an all-rounded education for people from all economic classes coming from all over the country and sometimes even abroad. We were talking about, I mean, I was mentioning that what parents might think about us, and Dr. Arupjyoti Saikia and his spouse from IIT Guwahati, have this to say about sending their son to us, I particularly would highlight in terms of its breadth and quality, we have no hesitation to conclude that it is one of the finest departments of history amongst the South Asian universities. So we feel good that over the last decade of this department, that students and parents are able to sort of identify with us as a excellent and world-class program. Coming back to what our students themselves do, students, of course, we offer the training, we offer the courses, but the students are the ones who are actually taking this on and doing something with it within their own college lives, and they go on to do it outside and after colleges. For instance, they organize by themselves, film screenings. This particular one was based on a course that they were doing of Dr. Divya Kannan's, which they did. They screened movies on childhood, for instance, so for a wider university audience, relating them to the scholarly literature that was being read in the classroom. Or the highlight of our department, of course, is the Student Society, which is called NIMON, and it's a history and archaeology society where, as I was mentioning right at the beginning, the highlight is the annual department trip, completely organized by the students. They decide where they want to go. They invite the teachers to go along with them. And of course, it's also our responsibility to make sure the students are safe and secure. So we always go with our students, and we're happy, spending the time with our students. The students are very happy having us with them in a place which has history, archaeology, and things to do. It's a nice place to go off campus sometimes together. And so we really feel that if the students want us there, then it's a good thing. Nimon, of course, organizes year-round events. They do, for example, this poster that you're seeing was a quiz on gender that they did, which also invited students from all across campus to participate in as well. We also do history days, archaeology days. We open up these sessions for high school students, middle school students from the Delhi NCR region, and it's completely done by our undergraduate students. They do all the planning under the supervision and consultation of the faculty, and we allow the students of Nimon to sort of come up with their events and even surprise us at times. And these have been very successful in the last couple of years that we have been doing this. And one thing I would definitely want to emphasize is that all of this education and learning is having a regular feedback into our own system. So it is not an anecdotal sort of understanding that I'm presenting here alone, as much as a measurable and measured feedback. So as the slide says, we have most all of our faculty consistently score very, very highly every semester on the course feedback that we all have to give. And this is something that really heartens us. And we feel that, the course was doing what is okay, what to improve about the course. So there's a constant feedback mechanism which is measurable, which you will find that the students anonymously give feedback. And so the students feel really invested in their own education process here, rather than just accepting and just receiving from the faculty also get a feedback. And this is something that goes on to keeping the courses fresh, always engaged with our students. And of course, students also acknowledge in many ways and surprise us in the kind of respect that they give back to us, including, on events such as Teachers' Day. So what do our students do once they actually finish this 4 years of education? Students have gone on to do a lot of higher education, like I was mentioning right at the beginning, master's and PhD. And even before NEP made bachelor students eligible to apply for a PhD if they did a 4-year bachelor's, the university here has always, had students periodically finish a bachelor's degree and go directly into a PhD program. Two such examples from our own student body I can mention. Both students have got bachelor's degree 2 years ago, and both of them are in United States of America doing a PhD, one of them in archaeology and one of them in journalism. And other departments as well in campus are seeing students go for PhD programs abroad after a bachelor's degree. So we've had students go to all of these institutions whose logos you can see here, and we're very proud. We keep in touch with them. They keep in touch with us, telling us about their progress and how much the education here helped them secure not only the admission, but also they feel that they're academically able to sort of do well in those places because of their undergraduate curriculum with us. So we also have received feedback from some of the teachers who have taught our former students, who are teaching some of our former students here. So this is another way in which we get a feedback about our department. So academically speaking, I can assure all of you that students and parents, I'm not sure how many students are here, how many parents are here, but in some measure, I think what I want to address to both parents and students this evening is the fact that academically speaking, you won't go wrong in trying to come here to get an undergraduate degree in our department. In fact, you will do extremely well with a 4-year degree with a lot of opportunities that you can express. Professors regularly give us feedback about the students that we have trained, we are training, and they would like to actually work with our students constantly, whether it's for research purposes or fieldwork purposes as far as archaeology is concerned. So we take a lot of pride in the fact that we are not only training students within our own department, but we are also training students who come from the economics department. For example, this particular student, Niharika, worked with our colleague, Dr. Imon, for her thesis as well. So currently based in the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Or Nishant was a PhD student in chemical engineering who also did history courses. We've also had students, former students who are now in the social work sector. We've also had, as I was mentioning, Malavika, who's now doing a PhD in Northwestern University in Chicago in the journalism school, but got her bachelor's degree from our department. We also have Bachelors of Management students such as Arsh, who has gone on to do a history minor. And as he says here, each course in itself brought some learnings and helped me to create new perspectives, even while addressing problem statements during my corporate journey. So that tells you that a young person is able to see through their own professional kind of choice of career through a lens of history and history education. And that is exactly what a humanities and a social science education is supposed to do. It's supposed to tell young people that there is a perspective beyond just the immediate decade or even 2 decades or even 3 decades. Sometimes it's much longer. And this is the sense that our students receive, whether they are from our own department or students who are getting courses within our department from outside. And of course, research continues to be the heart of our program. And that is the main forte of not only our department, but also Shiv Nada University, which is why we are an institute of eminence. We have, I'm sure if some of you attended a session by my colleague from International Relations yesterday, you might have heard about the opportunities for undergraduate research, or OUR. This is the only university in the entire country that has a system called an OUR, which means that students are free to choose after their second year or during their second year and onwards to do a research project for one whole year with any faculty mentor across the campus. So for instance, a biotechnology student, if he or she has done a course in history, would like to pursue or understand what it is to do research in history, can just come to a faculty member in my department and say that I'm interested in this theme. Can you mentor me for the next 1 year? And the university allows that, and the students get research experience. Um, this has been a fantastic kind of gateway for all of our students who want to do research later on. And also because fourth year in our university is a mandatory research year. Whether you're in biotechnology or in the humanities and social sciences, the students have to do a fourth year research thesis. So OUR can be seen as a practice sort of towards the fourth year research thesis as well. So as you can see from the list of research topics that students have worked on in our department, it covers a whole range. Whether it's the Tibetan community, whether it's medieval history, whether it's archaeology, you can see there's a paleobotanical study, which is basically a biotech student who did studies of seeds from an excavation. And the dates of those seeds were between 4th century BC and 10th century. So it was a very interesting kind of a research that was written up. People do studies on heritage making, on monumental sites such as Humayun's tomb, or whether it's also the understanding of memories of society on difficult themes in South Asian history, such as the partition, right?